You know what they say, y'all. New camera, new me. What is up, guys? So I have a very special video today. I'm making my own tag. I know, right? Crazy because I haven't done too many tags in the past, but I'm already making one. I'm gonna go ahead and tag other people because I kind of created this with other people. So the first person I'm gonna tag is Danielle. She's a writer and an author tuber and just a really great person. You should go subscribe to her. Second person I'm going to tag is Jay. He is also an author tuber and a writer and a great person as well. And the third person is Samuel. He's a more recent buddy of mine, but you should also go subscribe to him. He's an author tuber too. So you three are up next. You better do this tag because I made it for you. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the childhood writing tag. I think this is going to be a good one because a lot of people write when they're kids, and of course the writing's gonna suck because you're like 5 and you don't know what you're doing, but it's really fun to go back and reflect on what you did. So question number 1, when and why did you start writing? Funny story actually, when I was 3, my mother noticed me reading a book and she was like, what? Like 3-year-olds should not be able to read? My child's a genius. Well, it turns out I wasn't a genius. I was flipping through, looking at the pictures in the books and making up a story of my own. So I guess I've been writing since before I could read, but that's cheesy. The first novel project that I can remember writing was in 2nd grade, and it was about a rainbow of death. I think I wrote some stuff before that, but that was like the first big project when I decided I wanted to be a writer. Number 2, what was the first story you remember writing? So this time we're gonna go with the actual first story, not novel, but just story that I wrote. I wrote it in kindergarten, give or take, and it was called Pinky Promise. It was about this girl who wanted to go to her friend's sleepover, but she was really terrified, and her mother pinky promised her that she was gonna be okay. What a riveting plot, am I right? I was a young Shakespeare. Number 3, what was the first full project you finished? And when did you finish it, if you finished one? First full project I finished was in 9th grade. It was called Above Los Angeles, and I won't go over it very much. It was garbage, but if you want to hear about it, you should head over to my Room for Improvement series where I talk about all the things that went wrong in it. I mean, not all the things that went wrong, because the entire book was just wrong, but a few of the major issues. Number 4, what genre did you most enjoy writing as a child, and has it changed over time? I was obsessed with 2 things as a child: superpowers and schools, which meant that all of my characters either had some super special ability or went to some super special school. I guess that's fantasy. Since then, however, I've moved on from writing about things that can't happen and about the past to writing about the future, so I've definitely changed from fantasy to more of a sci-fi realm. Question 5, do you remember the first negative feedback you got on a story? This is a hard one. Wait, I wrote these questions. I stumped myself! I've been pretty lucky in terms of self-confidence within the realm of writing. However, if I had to pick something, I think I would go with this time in 8th grade. I was in English class and we were told to free write for about 15 minutes, and if you're a writer, you know that 15 minutes is not enough time to do anything. Anyway, as soon as we were done writing, my teacher was like, okay, it's time to switch with another student and show other people you're writing. And I was like, oh, hell no! And it turns out that my story about fairies getting run over by a lawnmower was not received well by my partner, who gave me a 2 out of 4 on the assignment, and a shit ton of criticism with it. Number 6, who is your favorite character that you wrote as a kid? I think her name was Luna, and I know that she had siblings whose names were way worse than hers. She also had superpowers. She could just run really fast. I know that there were a lot of other stories that I wrote before the one with her in it, but she's the first character that I remember spending a lot of time on. They weren't just a random blank blob that I placed in the story. You know, she was a real character that I spent time developing, and I loved her very much. Even though she was a dumbass most of the time, from what I can remember. Oh wait, her name wasn't Luna. Her name wasn't Luna, it was Lunia. It had an I in it. I remember because I went back through the story a few years ago and I found just all these erased I's in the middle because I had decided it was a bad name, but her name was Lunia. All the names of the other characters are still worse than her. I can guarantee that. Number 7, share some old writing of yours. So, for the tag, I was supposed to read this for you. My old writing. One of my first, books ever. While I was filming the video, I thought, I'm gonna draw it and make it kind of a production. And it's been a few days since I did that, and I now realized that I can't draw. Like, I knew that, and I just kind of forgot. So, anyway, without further ado, here's my old writing. So I'm going to be reading chapter 2 for you today. In chapter 1, basically what happens is there's a meteorite that hits Earth when this girl's 3, and somehow she remembers that because, you know, everyone remembers stuff that happened when they were 3. And so she gets on a spaceship, the whole city does, and they blast off to the moon, and they look back at Earth, like, watch all the people dying from the meteor, and they're like, oh no, only our city escaped. So, here we are in chapter 2. My name is Emma Thompson. Okay, we got a my name is, and we also got the name of a famous actress. I don't think I knew about the actress Emma Thompson when I wrote this. I live on the moon in a place called the 7 Cities. And of course they are capitalized. Actually, they are the only 7 cities on the moon. The only way we can live on the moon is the shield. Shield. S-H-I-L-D. Shield. It gives us air and the water supply. It's run by magic. Wait, what? I thought we were in a sci-fi and then all of a sudden it's run by magic. It's kept running by 6 keys. I think the 6 keys were supposed to be the focal point of the story where they're trying to like get all of them back, but I never got that far, so I honestly don't know what I was doing with any of this. But the 6 keys sounds familiar. I live in Plum City. The other cities are Sunshine, Grass, Sky, Tangerine, and Apple City. What? But don't forget the key city, Rainbow City, where all the magic is kept and where the school is. I told you, kids in their schools. I can't wait to go to school. You go for the week, sleep and everything, and go home on weekends. This is the weirdest info dump I've ever heard. My older brother, Theodore Thompson, is at the school. He is in grade 5. Our schools are different. You start at age 11 in grade 1. Now I'm just explaining how the school works. 12 years old, grade 2, and so on. I'm 10. I can't wait to go. So I'm so happy about this riveting tale that I've told. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. Woo! Number 8. What parts of your writing have improved since then? I think a lot of things have changed. First of all, I know how sentences work now, but the biggest thing that I think has changed is my creation process. And by that I mean that now I plan my stories out before I write them, which I think has had an amazing impact on every other part of the story writing process. Now I don't ramble on for pages and pages about things that don't matter. Now I don't skim over events that should be talked about. Now I don't get plot-based writer's block, which is a thing that I used to get a lot. Now I can also put little details in that come back later, which is something that I really enjoy doing. I can't name everything that's changed, obviously, because we'd be here for hours, but I think the fact that I know how to plan now is a really good indicator of how much I've grown as a writer. Number 9. Are there any parts of your writing that haven't changed much? Yes, actually, my dialogue. I used to love dialogue. Like, I couldn't describe things, but I'd be darned if my dialogue wasn't the best in the writing class. But now, today, as I'm editing, I will find these lines and I'll be like, how did you get in there? It sounds like a child ghost wrote this. I just have so many unnatural and weird lines of dialogue. Help! I mean, I'm sure it's gotten better, but it is not really where it needs to be yet. Number 10. If you could tell your childhood self one thing, what would it be? I would tell my childhood self to share my writing with my friends and family, which I was always terrified to do. But as I've grown up, I've realized that the fact that I didn't share it with them back then has come back to haunt me now. I always told them that I wouldn't share it with them until I was 100% sure that it was perfect and that they would love it when I showed it to them. The problem is, as I got older, I realized that writing isn't perfect and that I don't know if I'm ever going to be a published author. I'm not as good as I thought I would be at this age, you know? So they're all waiting on this perfect writing and I don't have it. if I had started showing them writing at a young age, they would have known that I wasn't a perfect writer. They would have seen me grow and know that I was getting better. And that would have been so much better. Now, if I show them my writing now and it's garbage, they're gonna be like, wow, we waited all this time for this. But I don't know if it's garbage because I can't show it to them, so it's kind of a chicken egg situation there. Yeah, show your writing early. I would definitely tell myself that. And if you're in a dilemma, should you show it, should you not? Show it! Tell your parents, I know this isn't perfect, here, read this. Show it to them! So thanks so much for watching, you guys. I'm so happy to have this new camera. So I'm gonna keep posting once a week, and my video next week is going to be super exciting. It's going to be a purely comedy video, none of me talking. It's gonna be called Writers Be Like. That one's gonna be about showing people your writing, actually. Which I have done. I don't mean to say that I haven't done it, I just haven't showed the important people in my life my writing. So yeah, come back for that video. It's gonna be super fun. And as always, until next time, may the gods of plot be ever on your side. I'm too scared to touch my new lens. I'm like tapping it. My story about fairies getting run over by a lawnmower was not received. Dumb idea for a story.